referencing 4114 be tabled to the next meeting. And I apologize, we'll bring back the right.
I'll make a motion to table that.
Thank you.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Tracy. We have to roll call that then, or we can do all in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, we will bring that back to you at next meeting in its right form. Moving on to B, city manager's recommended appointment to the library board, Ned Guyett, to fill the unexpired balance of Larry Thomas's citizen member term on May 1st, 2022. The recommended action here is a motion to approve the appointment as recommended by the city manager. Greg, do you have anything on that?
Mr. Guyett is no stranger to the library board. He has previously served on there. His service was interrupted due to having reached his term limit. Now that there has been an interruption in his service, he's not only eligible for reappointment, but very interested. He was a major contributor as a member of the board, so I highly recommend him. And at this point, it's solely for the balance of the citizen position that Larry Thomas had held before joining council. So it's now until May 1st of next year.
All right, looking for a motion?
Also motion.
Thank you, Larry. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Tracy. Any discussion? See none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion carries. On to C, city manager's recommended appointment to advisory recreation board, Jason Sharping, for a term expiring May 1st, 2024. You can read his bio or his application on page 149. The recommended motion is to approve the appointment as recommended by the city manager. Anything you need to elaborate on, Greg?
I would just mention at the last advisory rec board meeting, I understand there was discussion, and the thought is to take the 2 high school reps that we have, which was expanded about within the last year, to be 2 positions on the board. Traditionally, there had been 1 slot reserved for a high school representative, but effectively to consolidate it. There are 2 young men that are very interested in the advisory rec board's work. Their sports schedules, activity schedules don't always permit attendance. So if one of them is there, they are there and a full voting member. If both of them are there, they participate fully and would share a vote between them. But the idea here was to get another citizen appointment, and in part to help address some of our quorum issues. And Jason indicated a strong interest, and happy to recommend.
All right, looking for a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Tracy. Second by Bill. Any discussion? See none. This is also all in favor.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to D, resolution ordering a special election to elect a council member for a 2-year term to be held concurrently with the 2022 spring election. Page 150 in your packet. The recommended action is a motion to waive reading and adopt the resolution. I think this has to do with filling Kurt Andrews' vacancy, the one that Larry Thomas is currently on right now. Greg, anything else you want to add to that?
Just that we've discussed previously, the Kurt, as of next April, would have been only 1 year into a 3-year term. Council has indicated a preference for having made the appointment of Larry to the council, that it be an appointment until the spring election. And as the city clerk has reported previously, there's a statutory window for scheduling special elections. Special election because it'll be an election for a 2-year term, even though it's on the regular election date. We're now within that statutory window, and this would so order that special election for 1 council seat with a 2-year term, which will be on the same ballot as 3 council seats that are there for 3-year terms.
All right, looking for a motion. Thank you, Larry. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Tracy. Any discussion? See none. Oh, go ahead, Bill.
Make sure everybody knows that that's totally separate from the other election.
Not necessarily. On paper, it needs to be called a special election and a spring election, but it's going to be 1 ballot. There will be.
It'll be choose 4 people.
No, it'll be 2 sections on the ballot that are for council member, one for a 2-year term, that is a 1, and 1 section for term that is vote for 3.
That's what he,
That's what I meant, yeah.
yeah.
I
Yes,
mean, now,
either way,
people
right.
running for the 2-year can't also run for the 3-year. That was,
I think they can.
And, but we could run into the exact same situation as we have now. If someone would run for both and win both, they get to pick which one they want, but we don't automatically put the second place winner into the spot. We would have to have another special election or appoint someone again.
I don't think there's much we can do to prevent that either. I think it's a state statute.
We're stuck with it.
It'd
Fortunately.
be nice to have it where you can only vote, opt into one of them and not both of them, but we can't, and I think state makes us put it that way as well. All right, this is a resolution unless we have any more questions for council. No, this is a resolution, so it is a roll call vote. Jamie?
Bill Leclerc,
I,
Bonnie Shimulinas,
Aye.
Larry Thomas,
Aye.
Adam Wohuski,
Aye.
Mark Bittner,
Aye.
Jeff Delkey,
Aye.
Tracy Coach,
Aye.
Darla Leclerc.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on to E, Audit Services Contract with Clifford Larson Allen LLP, which is called CLA. That is 151 in your packet. Motion to authorize the city manager to sign a letter of agreement to provide financial report preparation and auditing services for a 3-year period. Greg or Dave, does someone want to do anything?
You have a memo in your packets from our finance director, Mr. Buss. Of course, CLA acquired a few years back Schenck and Associates, who'd been the city's auditor for many years. Nothing's getting cheaper when it comes to audit services. I know Dave Buss, our finance director, has pointed out there are some value-added seminars on things from ARPA to payroll compliance issues and other things that the CLA offers. And it is also subject to a technology fee, which I thought was kind of interesting. But we have had good service from CLA and do recommend approval of a 3-year engagement. Any other questions, Dave would be happy to answer them.
First, we will look for a motion.
motion.
Thank you, Bill. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Jeff. Now, any discussion? I have one. Was this shopped around, Dave, at all, or do we just go with CLA because that's kind of who we've done in the past?
It has not been shopped around recently, not in the last, probably 10 years or so. It is very much a continuity, familiarity kind of a thing. The process to go out would be to put together an RFP, a request for proposal from different firms, which would take time, energy, and that sort of thing. But for me, my recommendation would be to continue with them because of the familiarity with their staff. There's always that certain amount of time between, with the new people to, I don't want to say break them in, but to become familiar with them and to develop a working relationship that we've already got with CLA.
Okay, with that said, do you feel that this is a reasonable increase in price?
Yes, and for the reasons that are in the memo, as well as Greg mentioned, that there's more informational seminars that are coming through now because they are CLA larger. They've got more resources. In fact, I sat through one today on the new infrastructure plan, and they're learning along with us, but they're able to share their expertise with us right away. And also, yeah, and I mentioned the continuity with the familiarity with the firm and the people.
Okay. Any other questions from council?
I have one question.
Yes, Mark.
I believe that this is mandatory too by state and to create our ratings for our bonds and everything else that we have to do an annual.
Right, we are required to do an audit of our books annually. not only for the bonding, but also just for the Government Accounting Standards Board and that sort of thing. Yes.
Does the state look at who does that audit and kind of, I don't want to say just overlook it more, but feel that they're more reputable and kind of don't look at it as hard? You know, like CLA is a big firm. So when they see CLA's name, do they feel more comfortable with that, seeing that name versus a smaller person, or does that not really matter?
I would think, I can't say that it would matter.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to speak for the state, though.
Okay, sure.
So-
Yep, nope, makes sense. All right, any other questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you very much. Moving on to F. This is a resolution approving final design concept for Central Park West. This is page 154 in your packet, the motion to read and adopt the resolution. I will turn that over to Greg to read and address anything else he wants to address with that.
I'd like to acknowledge we have 3 citizen members of the design committee that's been working since January on this project. That includes Wendy Kozlowski Brandt, the chair of the committee, Scott Steckmesser, and Kathy Peterson. Thank you for being here tonight. The committee's most recent meeting was last Thursday, and again, outstanding attendance by the citizen members that have contributed so much to this. This is an important one, and we've talked about it a lot. That's why I did request to read and adopt, so I'll bear into it. City manager's report was short, so this is a little longer. Resolution approving final design concept for the Central Park West 365 project. Whereas the city's 2021 budget included funding for planning and design of park improvements to include a summer splash pad and winter skating rink to be located somewhere in the city's park system. And whereas the City Council on December 7, 2020, adopted a resolution creating a special citizen design committee to work with city staff and a professional design firm to develop a recommended location, design, and cost estimates for such facilities. And whereas that resolution further stated that there was, quote, a general consensus to pursue locating those facilities in Central Park/West for various reasons that included serving both residents and visitors, strengthening the city's central business district, and refreshing this very important public space. And whereas through the hard work of a 9-member citizen planning committee that includes 2 council members, and I should have likewise pointed out, Tracy Coach and Jay Remacher are the council members that serve on the committee. Let's see. Yeah, plans have been developed for the transformation of Central Park West into a year-round venue for outdoor activities in the heart of downtown Two Rivers, which has been dubbed the Central Park West 365 project. And whereas the City Council has more recently, on October 18 of 2021, authorized creation of a fundraising committee for the project and approved the city manager's recommended appointments to that committee. Community funding for the project already includes a generous $300,000 commitment from the West Foundation and $10,000 in donations from local individuals. And whereas the overall design concept for this space, initially completed in June 2021, has been refined and improved over the past 4 months through dialogue between the Citizen Planning Committee, other interested members of the community, and the City Council, resulting in a final design plan that is now presented for the City Council's formal endorsement with recommendation for approval from the Planning Committee's meeting of November 11. Now therefore be it resolved, the attached plan dated October 25, 2021, and including the following features, which are a new bandstand to be located at the far north end of the park, an enlarged audience space in front of the bandstand, including a concrete surfaced area nearest the stage, and a great lawn extending southward to the center of the park, a water feature intended for enjoyment by children and as an attractive piece of public art, a central pavilion with rental space, public restrooms, and mechanical room, scratch the second word room that appears there, for water feature pumps and controls, an ice rink ribbon to feature artificial ice and thereby offer a reliable and extended outdoor skating season, and a redesigned West Park Street narrowed to serve as a low-speed, one-way street providing vehicular access across the front of the community house while respecting the need for pedestrian safety in this high-use public space is hereby adopted. as the final official concept plan for the redevelopment of Central Park West. And be it further resolved, the city council declares its enthusiastic support for the project, which is viewed as an important investment in our community's quality of life and the economic vitality of its downtown business district. And be it further resolved that the city manager and city staff are directed to continue to aggressively pursue grant funding opportunities in support of Central Park West 365, whose estimated total cost is approximately $1.6 million. And be it further resolved that the businesses, organizations, and citizens of Two Rivers are encouraged to consider donations in support of this ambitious and transformational community project as an investment that will benefit Two Rivers for generations to come. And that's proposed for approval this 15th day of November 2021. As folks know, probably the biggest point of contention or further discussion on the design was West Park Street. You know, I don't know if I can.
You have one? Okay.
Yeah,
The audio.
I'd meant to have a graphic.
Sure, no problem.
Well, let me check. While you discuss. So would recommend approval, frankly, so we can go full bore with fundraising activities and seeking donations, grants from the community, knowing that there is agreement on the layout and the design concept. Not part of this resolution, but we had discussed, you know, this may very well mean not bidding the project until summer next year for fall 2022, spring 23 construction. Let's talk about that at a later point. But this is to look for a formal, full-throated endorsement of the design concept as it's been refined.
All right. And a very good job by the citizen committee of this project, who put in a lot of work and a lot of time, especially on those Thursday nights that probably got kind of long. They did a great job. I mean, we've got something now that I think everybody's going to like, everyone's going to enjoy. City council has also stepped in and took a look at the project. So it's been endorsed by city council at a previous meeting that said they liked the concept, and then further went to the citizen board, in which they unanimously approved this project as well. We may or may not have a graphic that we can show the audience. If we do, we'll pop it up on your TV or your Facebook screen. We do not. Okay. So you'll see it in the future. I'm sure it'll be on Facebook tomorrow, on the city's website. There's something in the future. Right now, we are going to look for a motion.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution.
Thank you, Mark. Do I have a second? Thank you, Bill. Any discussion among council? This is a great point. Absolutely will.
I may be getting closer to the graphics.
We may be getting closer to this graphic. So, council, add some more discussion, huh? Even if it's just positive vibes.
Was anything ever resolved of what's gonna happen if there's an early ice storm?
As far as maintenance on the artificial
Yeah, I
ice,
mean, if you get an early ice storm, are we just not gonna be able to use it until it clears out, or?
we've had some discussion of that. It's like a lot of outdoor things. There may be a matter of finding out what it would take in those, if you know in advance you're going to get some ice, to maybe be able to tarp it. Also, what would the weight be if you had to literally pick sections up and thaw it? That was one point of discussion at the last meeting. How much of the section's going to weigh and how can they be stored? Thank you, Terry. I was just going to the city's website anyway.
Mr. President, if you
Yes.
look at, normally at night, our downtown area is pretty quiet.
Oh, that's not.
This new addition will be a lit up area in the heart of our downtown, which will encourage young people and other tourists and people to come and use the facility. And it will benefit overall traffic in our community and help our
I was looking
downtown
for-
businesses, which could use some help. So I think it's a great step and a very positive move.
Yeah, I would agree. And the nice thing about the artificial ice is it's never going to melt. It's never going to thaw, then refreeze and be all bumpy and rigidy and not be able to use, kind of like you see in other municipalities. And even when we had a couple ice skating rinks here in the city, it'd be the same kind of thing. The fire department would flood it at the beginning of the year, but then you'd get your January thaw, and then it'd be all cattywampus. But this won't be that way, and it'll allow us to skate year round essentially, but probably won't use it much in summer.
We're looking for more time. The improvement to the bandstand, the backing of the bandstand will add to the projection of the sound or the activities that are taking place on this new bandstand and project the sound out. So that's another positive too.
Not perfect, but we do have the site plan up from tonight's agenda attachments to share.
Rick, can you pop that on the screen for TV?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not sharing, am I?
Rick might be able to make that happen. He's a pretty smart guy.
Wonderful.
Abracadabra.
So if you start from 17th Street at the south, you see it's a narrow, single lane street. Instead of being about 36 feet wide, it would be about 12 feet pavement width when you first come in there. So that is expected to be traffic calming. As you proceed north, this isn't shown on the plan, but the discussion at the council's work session and at the planning committee meeting last week was that in all likelihood, this would be posted as a 15-mile-per-hour speed limit. That's 15. And likewise, there's certainly the possibility of putting a speed table, much like down at Neshota Beach, where we have two of them, not a speed bump, but a speed table, up, over, down, right about at the point of that pedestrian crossing where the diagonal crosswalk from the park meets West Park Street. If you drive further north, there would be a drop zone to the right there, shown as item 13. It's a little fuzzy, sorry. That would have room for 2 or 3 cars to be able to pull over, drop off passengers, whether they were headed for or pick them up, whether they were headed to or from the park or the community house. And as you proceed further north, there would be, I believe it's a total of 11 diagonal parking spaces in the northerly portion of the block opposite the old Wells Fargo Bank. Some advantages of this design are that if there are special events or heavy use periods, that lower half of West Park Street could be barricaded if council authorizes without interfering with traffic flow through the drive-through or parking lot of the new business at the bank location. And this change in design did not, in the north half of the block, reduce any of the green space or the area shown for public assembly in front of the bandstand. In the southerly portion, yes, it did eliminate some of the green buffer area where basically the park was extending up to the community house. But while that buffer area is smaller and there is vehicular traffic on occasion to deal with, it did not change the dimensions of the skating ribbon or the ice ribbon shown there. Thank you. I meant to have that up and then kind of forgot about it. But a lot of good thought went into it, and sometimes the art of compromise is necessary in order to move things forward. And that's why we're here tonight.
Do we have any proposed or projected annual operating costs on what it's going to cost per year?
Those are part of the ongoing plan. We don't have final numbers on that. And likewise, a comparison to what it costs to maintain it presently.
Right. I mean, what it would cost in addition.
I think some of those numbers would be in the budget numbers that we're reviewing out of the Park and Recreation budget. So we could dig into that Wednesday, Jeff. and
It
see.
doesn't reflect it
Yeah.
at this point, but
No. But some of the lawn mowing costs and other things will be similar.
I think there's a lot of real positive here and the chance to even generate some money with concerts and renting it out for Brian Lee Day yet and making it even more convenient for them with having our utility room number 4 on there. It's the kind of the brown building. I don't want to say just utility room, but it's kind of a multi-purpose room in there that can really help with a lot of that and chances to rent that out for birthday parties and other such things. It's going to be a real good thing for downtown and hopefully attract more people downtown, more businesses downtown. And it's going to be good.
I didn't mention it in this presentation, but Blake, our designer, did share that at least the conceptual plan for that utility building does expand slightly the rental space in there. So, it could accommodate the indoor area for somebody's child's birthday party. He looking at adding a countertop and a sink, so you could do the basics. If an organization wanted to have concession sales, not the city necessarily, but say a group during a band concert or special event down there. So it's meant to be space that could be used for a variety of things, not just the concession stand that we went into this with.
Opens up a lot of possibilities. Anything else among council? Did I miss anyone? No? Okay. Seeing this is a resolution, we will be asking for a roll call. Jamie?
Bonnie Shimulis,
Aye.
Larry Thomas,
Aye.
Adam Mohusky,
Aye.
Mark Bittner,
Aye.
Jeff Dalke,
No.
Tracy Coach, Darla Leclerc,
Aye.
Bill Leclerc.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, moving on to 12 for information only. Greg?
Heard a lot of these before, but just a reminder, City Hall is closed next Thursday and Friday for Thanksgiving. There is a there is a city council work session on the 29th. There's no council meeting scheduled for next Monday, the 22nd. It's 5 Monday month, the 29th. Agenda includes a hearing on the 2022 budget, and I expect most of the rest of that agenda would relate to some summary overview discussion of the budget as reviewed by the Finance Committee. The council does have a regular meeting. First regular meeting in December is on the 6th at 6 p.m. That agenda will include action on the 2022 budget. You know about the regular election in April and the special election. The city clerk might have to help me on this one, but nomination papers for any of the council vacancies are available December 1. There's one deadline for anyone running for the 3-year terms,
January 4th.
which is January 4th. And then there is a deadline of January 11th for anyone running in the special election for the 2-year term. And that again is a happy result of the statutory language that applies there. If you are a current council member, there is also a date by which non-candidacy statements need to be filed, and that is Friday, December 24. That means the clerk or somebody will stick around on or have provision somehow.
It does. It has to be December 24th. So my suggestion would be if you are not running and you know that, please let me know by.
Yeah, get that in a little early.
Yeah.
She's got kiddos.
If somebody who currently sits on the council fails to make that notification and then doesn't file papers, there's as I recall, there's an
Yeah, if-
extension of the time frame.
Right.
So you don't want to cause that either, if you can avoid it. So that's, as if that wasn't already confusing enough. That's all I have, other than we do have 2 matters to discuss tonight in closed session, maybe at some length by council, and there is the possibility of action upon reconvening an open session.
All right. Thank you. Number 13, closed session. The city council reserves the right to enter into closed session per Wisconsin statutes 19.851E when deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investment of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. Tonight, we'll be discussing proposals received for the purchase of city-owned former Paragon property and discuss matters pertaining to the sale of other city-owned property. As Greg said, we may be reconvening an open session to vote on something that we discussed in closed session. I'm looking for a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Tracy. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Jeff. Any discussion? This is a roll call vote. Jamie?
Bonnie Shimulis,
Aye.
Larry Thomas,
Aye.
Adam Mohusky,
Aye.
Mark Bittner,
Aye.
Jeff Dalke,
Aye.
Tracy Coach,
Aye.
Darla Leclerc,
Aye.
Bill Leclerc. Motion carries.
All right, thank you. We'll give looks like they got to get some information together, so we'll give them 5 minutes here.